Today, we are diving deep into one of the most profound and influential spiritual texts in the world, the Bhagavad Gita. Now, it's an ancient text for sure, but the central conflict it explores, it feels like it could have been written yesterday.
I mean, just think about that for a second. What if your job, your sworn duty, the very thing you were born to do, required you to go to war against people you love, people you grew up with? We're talking cousins, teachers, even grandfathers. That is the gut-wrenching dilemma that kicks off the entire Bhagavad Gita.
So let's set the scene. We're on this legendary battlefield called Kurukshetra. It's the very beginning of a massive civil war, a story taken from the much larger Indian epic, the Mahabharata. The armies are lined up, the tension is just electric. And right at that critical moment, our hero has a complete and total breakdown. Now, you have to understand, this is not a war against some foreign invader. This is a family feud that has spiraled way out of control. On one side, you've got the Pandavas, 5 brothers who are the rightful heirs to the kingdom. And on the other side, their own flesh and blood, 100 cousins, the Kauravas, who've basically stolen the throne. And at the center of this storm is Arjuna. This guy is a living legend, the greatest warrior of his generation, the champion for the good guys, the Pandavas. Everyone is counting on him to lead the charge. But when he looks across the battlefield and sees the faces of his own kin, he just crumbles. And you can just feel the raw anguish in his words here. He's literally having a physical reaction to the horror of the situation. He says his limbs feel weak, his mouth is going dry, and his famous, powerful bow, the Gandiva, is literally slipping from his grasp. He is completely overwhelmed. He turns to his charioteer and just says, "I can't do this. I can't fight." And let's be clear, this isn't about cowardice. Not at all. This is a deep, profound moral crisis. He lays out his case. Killing his family is a horrific sin. Any victory would be meaningless, completely soaked in the blood of the people he respects and loves. He goes even further, arguing that this war will shatter society itself, destroying family traditions and leading to total chaos. And this moment of despair, this is where the entire story pivots. Because Arjuna's charioteer isn't just some guy driving the horses, it's Lord Krishna, a divine being in human form. And seeing Arjuna completely paralyzed by grief, Krishna starts to speak, and what he says changes everything, shifting Arjuna's perspective from the temporary world to the eternal reality. Krishna begins with this fundamental concept, the Atma. He explains that deep inside every living thing, there is this inner self, or soul. And this soul, it's immortal. It can't be destroyed. It wasn't born, and it can never die. It just is. So Krishna basically tells Arjuna, you're grieving for the wrong thing. He's seeing all these physical bodies of his cousins, his teachers, and mourning their potential destruction. But Krishna points out that bodies are temporary by their very nature. They're like shells. The real person, the Atma inside, is eternal and can't be harmed. And that, he says, is why truly wise people don't get hung up on death. And he uses this incredible metaphor to make it easy to understand. It's brilliant, really. He says the soul moving from one body to the next is like you taking off an old, worn-out shirt and putting on a new one. Death isn't some terrifying end. It's just a change of clothes for the soul. Okay, so that's a mind-bending idea, right? The soul is eternal. But how does that help Arjuna right now, on a battlefield, with a war to fight? Well, Krishna's answer leads us to one of the most practical and powerful philosophies ever conceived, the path of selfless duty. He calls it karma yoga, the yoga of action. Krishna explains that Arjuna's duty, his dharma as a warrior, is to fight for justice. But here's the crucial part. He must fight without any attachment to the results. He has to act not for glory, not for the kingdom, not even for the victory itself, but simply because it is his duty. It's the right thing to do.
This line right here, this is the heart of the whole Bhagavad Gita. It's so powerful. You have control over your effort, your actions. Pour everything you have into doing your job well. But the results of that action, whether you succeed or fail, whether you're praised or blamed, that's not up to you. You have to let it go. So why is this detachment so important? Well, Krishna explains that getting attached to outcomes is the root cause of all our suffering. He lays out this whole psychological chain reaction. You get attached to something, let's say winning. That attachment creates desire. If that desire gets blocked, what happens? You get angry. Anger makes you lose your judgment. And once your judgment is gone, you're headed for disaster. So, this incredible conversation, this Song of God, as it's called, is really a manual for living. It takes Arjuna from a state of total despair and confusion and guides him toward enlightened action. It's all about how to find peace and purpose, even in the middle of life's biggest conflicts. So, let's just boil it down to the key takeaways. Number 1, your true self, your soul, is eternal. It can't be harmed. Number 2, figure out what your duty, your dharma is, and do it with all your heart. Number 3, this is the big one, act without being attached to the results. That's karma yoga. And finally, real, lasting peace doesn't come from winning or getting stuff. It comes from mastering yourself.
And that leaves us with a question to ponder. We all have our own battlefields, right? In our work, in our families, in our own minds. So, what's the biggest battle you're facing right now? And how might your approach to it change if you focused simply on doing your part selflessly and letting go of the outcome? It's a powerful idea to think about. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.